like to welcome everybody to the fantastic talk on AI education and bridging the gender gap in AI, and pass across to Shaprindra. And thank you very much. We're looking forward to your presentation from India. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret, for having me here. So I'm Supriya Bhualka. I'm from Coding and More. To give you a little bit of background about myself, currently I'm the founder and an AI educator for Coding and More. We are a completely online platform of women educators teaching AI to children from ages 8 all the way to 18. Before this, my background, my educational background is actually in math and economics. I'm not from a computer science or a data science background. I went to a women's college in the US, Wellesley. Post my graduation, I worked for a bit on the derivatives floor. Didn't really enjoy that much. Came back to India. At that time, women of my community didn't work. So I volunteered my time counseling children who wanted to go study abroad. And that's when I got an insight to how children are thinking about their education and linking it to success or their measure of success of earning a livelihood, but not linking it to the passion and interest, which troubled me. And because I always enjoyed my learning, and was also able to make my passion my work, which is what I want for our young youth to do. And then in 2014, I got an opportunity to start my entrepreneurial journey by taking a franchise that was really helpful. It was a Japanese company for math and English. And having such a long sabbatical from professional life, running a franchise gave me the confidence of learning all the different aspects of business, from the marketing to the accounts to the law, to customer service, and the thing that I enjoyed most, which is empowering children to learn. And during COVID, when we were in the middle of lockdown, I was looking for something for my daughter. I have a young daughter. She's 11, then she was 9. I wanted her to learn coding because now coding is accessible to young children with visual platforms. I either didn't find the right teacher or the right institute. And so I said, you know what, I'll just teach her. I started researching. In my research, I stumbled into the AI curriculum for children. And that to me was incredible because suddenly all the technologies that we are interacting with on a daily basis made sense to me. And I was like, you know what, I need to teach this to the children. So I piloted my course, and 2 months, when my first batch was in the pilot, there was a World AI competition. And for the first time, it had gone online because of COVID. This was in December 2020. They asked me that would I like our children to participate. I was like, they barely know any AI, but they insisted and we participated. And 3 of my girls won the second runner-up. And that really gave me an impetus that what we're doing is amazing. And I want to share something with you that today was the World AI competition again, 2022. And 13 of our children had participated, out of which 6 have come away with an award. So we are super, super excited, to share that with you. But just to get back on track, today what my plan was to share with you what we are doing at Coding and More with AI education, our journey with entrepreneurship with AI education, why I believe that it is so important for everyone to be AI literate, not just people who love technology and are good at math and programming. I want to share why AI education is accessible in spite of your age, gender, ethnicity. It's all about a mindset, the different careers you could have in AI. Where do you begin, right? And why it is so important that there are more women in AI, more women in tech. So that's the plan. And if anybody has questions along the way, please put it in the chat. You can, if I don't see your question and you have this burning desire, just put up your hand and I'm happy to answer that. So our company, though it's for profit, is actually aligned to 2 of the UN SDGs, quality education and bridging the gender gap. So we have built a curriculum which is personalized to children's different learning capabilities and interests. is completely online. All our educators are women. The reason I built in such a strong bias, in our company is because I felt that just the way I had to take a sabbatical for a long part of my life, I felt that there are lots of women who have to sort of juggle between career and family, and they shouldn't have to do that, because then it's very hard for women to get back to work, because they lose that confidence that they still have it in them to lead a professional life. So we have built an online platform where we help women to upskill and learn the skill set and give them an opportunity to work from home, flexi time with no minimum, so that they can sort of be happy teachers and more powerful teachers. I genuinely believe that a happier environment is better than an efficient environment. Uh, I think our company is testimonial to that. So a little bit about coding and more. We are completely online. We have upskilled and empowered many women to work with us. We have taught over 600 600 children, around India and a couple of countries in our time zone, all completely through word of mouth. We spend no money on marketing because we are bootstrapped. We are part of professional data scientist communities. The reason I initiated a K-12 chapter was because I wanted the AI education for children to be seamless. What you learn in school and what you are required to have in the workspace, there's a gap. So I wanted to sort of bridge that gap. So when children are learning these AI technologies, if they actually work on a real life challenge, an AI challenge, with data scientists, they can bridge as many gaps as possible. So we have the first K-12 chapter, and some of our students made their first project earlier this year. And now we are going to be working on the next project in the coming month. Again, we are very, very invested in AI literacy, and the fact that AI is not just technology, but is being used in every single industry that you can think of. So every month, we also invite scholars and academic people to come and share their work and, with the children, and share how, AI is making their work more efficient. And a lot of the speakers who have come in the past have not been people who had learned AI or data science, but they have been able to pull together a team to make their work more efficient. And then, of course, as I mentioned, that, we participate in the VC earlier on in our career, and today again we participate in the VC. And as a company ourselves, we have hosted many hackathons and competitions for our children so that they get an opportunity to put what they're learning into use, building AI solutions around the UN SDGs, so that they learn the life skills of ideating, presenting, working in a team, problem solving for problems that they're passionate about and that matter in the community. I've gone on and on about AI, but what is AI? A lot of people are fearful, saying that, oh, AI is going to take over the world, AI is going to take over our job. Do you think that's true? How many people believe that AI will take over their jobs? Can I have a show of hands? Oh, James thinks that, AI is going to take over the world. I'm of this different camp where I believe that, AI is when the machine is taught to make smart decisions given our data. We are the humans, we are the teachers. So I believe that if we are going to be responsible creators of AI, today we are living in a world of more narrow AI technologies, and not general AI. So I think that we are safe for now until, companies that are trying to build general AI models, till then we are safe, as long as the developers are mindful of the models they build. So I think for now we are okay. Again, if I show you these two pictures, is it obvious which one is AI and which one is not? Does anybody want to take a go of how many people believe it's a self-driving car which is AI, or the drone which is AI? Does anybody want to have a go?
I think the self-driving car is AI.
Yes, and the reason it's AI is because it's self-driving, whereas a drone is remote control, so it's being controlled by a human. So it's certainly not AI. A lot of people miss a remote control and think that's AI too. Why is it important to be AI literate? Today, AI is in our lives, it's in our phones, it's in our TVs, and it's recommending to us, it's personalizing our content for us. You know, all of us in this room now read the newspaper on our apps on the mobile phones, and we don't realize, but the news that maybe James is reading is very different from what Margaret is reading versus to what I'm reading, because the AI knows from my past reading habits what I'm interested in and tends to show me what I like reading versus what Margaret might like. And you may say that that's very efficient, and now I don't have to waste my time. But at the same time, it's shaping the way I'm seeing the world around me, because I'm only seeing things that I like and I'm not getting the second perspective. And at times of elections and times of decision making, if you have a very narrow view of the world which is being shaped by your past browsing history, that's quite dangerous, I think. So besides the fact that it's in all our apps and personalizing everything, the other thing to be cognizant about is that with all the data that the AI is collecting, is building a profile about you, which is being used to decide how much insurance you should be paying, how much, whether you're credit worthy or not, whether you will get the promotion, whether your child will go to college. A lot of decisions are being made, which are not necessarily correct, but we are using these applications without realizing how inaccurate the predictions are, which is why it is important to understand what is AI, how it's learning, and how we can be more responsible. So, how does AI learn? AI learns from various data sources, from sound, videos, images, gestures, numbers, text. It's from all of us, right? So many of us will say that, why is it that I'm talking about marmalade, and the next thing I know, I'm seeing marmalade ads on my phone? I have not searched for it, but the microphone is listening, right? So we should be mindful as to how AI is learning and what are the predictions coming out at us. So the process of machine learning is threefold. You have a data set, it goes through a learning algorithm, and it gives you a prediction. So in the case of YouTube, it would be, what have you watched in the past, what you have liked, what you have subscribed to, that goes through the YouTube algorithm. And then the prediction would be the next shows that it would suggest to you that you would like to watch, right? The email spam filter, I think, is redundant. I think most of us in this room are of a generation when we actually went and physically filtered out a spam. Today, I think it's the other way around. I have to go to my spam filter and filter out, emails that were not meant to go to spam, right? But the AI has learned from my years of receiving emails as to, what is spam and what is not, and it's doing a pretty good job of it, right? So the reason why I believe that AI literacy is very, very important is because not only as research shows that, this is where the maximum jobs are going to be created and where the maximum demand is, and where there's already a gap of AI skilled workforce, if one is AI literate, we can actually upskill ourselves, be more efficient in our work. AI is a tool that will help you be better at your work so that you can do the higher level thinking and leave AI to do the redundant, repetitive work, right? So I don't think AI will take away your job. I think AI will make you more efficient at your job as long as you know how to use it responsibility. There's a whole new field that is coming up in AI called ethical AI, which is really interesting. And I think that people who understand ethical AI would actually have a sort of an advantage over people who don't, because today, as law is not being able to keep up with the change in technology, you know, companies are making AI models which don't adhere to the ethical framework, but people who understand it and who actually model the AI, according to the ethical framework, would not have to go down later on once the laws come into place to change the models. So I think it is very, very important to be AI literate, because it will just help in the economic growth. It will make you more efficient. It will help you upskill. So at Coding and More, we have various teaching tools, and we have sort of made two pathways. So there are pathways for people who want to be specialists and who are the ones who like the math and the programming, and they actually want to create the software and the AI models. And then you have the lot who are going to be the AI practitioners, whether they are lawyers, doctors, farmers, marketeers, or as you now know, that AI is even creating art, music. And as you might have read about, the GPT chatbot today is, incredible, right? What AI can do. So for the children who want to be AI practitioners, we actually have really, really incredible platforms which are low code, no code, on which, children can learn AI. And what we are very mindful of is that we focus on the logic of learning, because technology is changing so rapidly. You don't want to be learning tools which will be obsolete by the time you grow up. So we focus on the logic rather than technical stuff, so that it is transferable skill sets. I'm going to play an example of, the projects that some of our children have made. They are about 13 to 14 years of age, and they've been made on the low code platform. This child took a data set of stock prices, and he has tried to predict the closing price of a stock. So I'm going to just run this through to you. Please let me know if you can hear the, voice. I'm sorry.
I think we've got a problem with the sound.
Okay. Sorry.
What we can do afterwards, if you put the link in the chat after, people can watch it afterwards.
Now?
It has
That's all right. Yes.
425 examples of stock prices. This is the spreadsheet that I have used. It has date, open, high, low, adjacent close, and volume. And the AI tries to guess the adjacent close. This is the AI that I have made to guess the adjacent close. To keep the variables completely random, I'm going to be using a random number generator. For open price, let's take 697. For the highest price, let's take 315. And for the lowest price, let's take 282. And for volume, let's take 635. And now we just have to click this button to help the AI, to tell the AI to guess the adjacent close. This is correct. It's this low because the open price is higher than the high price. Thank you.
Excuse me. And I'm just going to make sure that I close this. And you can still see my screen, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm sorry that you couldn't hear the computer sound earlier. And in the interest of time, I'll first take you forward, and if you have time, I'll show you the next project. So some of the career options once a person is AI literate would be that either you could be a specialist and you can go on to be a data scientist, be an AI ML engineer, or you can decide to be a generalist or an AI practitioner and use it in whichever field you may be. Or if you're more of an academic person, you can decide to go into policy, education, research. And another option is always open to you to be an entrepreneur like me, and be both running your own business and being an academic by having a business in AI education. Um, so those are some of the career choices if you decide to specialize in AI. And where do you begin your learning? Well, the first thing to do is to have the knowledge and the certifications. And I think we are living in a very, very interesting time where all the information that we need is all online and you don't really have to travel anywhere. And the main thing is to learn from accredited sources. I like to personally learn from universities because then I know that the knowledge that I'm gaining and that I'm imparting to the children is not biased and is for impact. um, if one has to go take a job and needs the certifications, you have some incredible places like Coursera and edX, where you can take courses on AI, ML, data science, and get the certification. But I think that, just learning things theoretically is not enough unless you apply it, whether you're a specialist or a generalist. And you don't even have to wait to get an internship. As I said, today we have communities of data scientists who come together to work on challenges for the community. There are two that I can tell you that I know of. One is Omdena and the other is Fruit Punch. And if you were to learn AI and wanted to apply your learnings, you could actually join one of these communities and work on a challenge together and actually know what are your gaps in your learning. The other thing that I have found is that when we embark into a new field, sometimes we feel very alone because you're doing all your online learning online. So what you can do is join a community. And again, there are many focus communities for data science. There are specific ones for women. I am myself a member of the Women in AI, which is a worldwide organization. And you meet people like you meet people with complementary skill sets, and it's a great learning platform to be on them. And I think that if one decides to embark on a journey in learning AI, it is very, very important to be updated because this technology is changing at a rapid pace. And the best way to do it is by subscribing to newsletters and podcasts by AI thought leaders. The three that I swear by are the MIT Tech Review, the Batch, and I subscribe to it through my LinkedIn account. So it just comes to my mailbox instead of me having to look for it. And a podcast that I highly recommend is the one by Cassie Kozyrov. She's a CTO of Google, and her podcast is called Making Friends with Machine Learning. She's really funny and very sassy, and I love the way she makes really complex concepts really easy to understand with great analogies so that stick. So this is a nice way to have a roster of where to begin your learning. I'm sorry, I've been just speaking nonstop and not giving you a chance to ask any questions. If there are any, you can just please put it on the chat. I just have a couple more slides. So the other thing that I wanted to speak about is that why is it important that we need more women in tech? We already know that we are underrepresented. Only a quarter of us are part of tech. But I think it is more important now because the biases that existed in the physical world are getting amplified multifold with AI and technology. And we are already seeing the repercussions. The biases are coming in the way of hiring, college admissions, the credit that you're getting, the promotions that you're getting. for healthcare. It's insane that we are putting into practice these medical apps which are predicting or recommending to people, whether they should be seeing a doctor, whether they have a particular disease. I recently read that there's a particular AI app which predicts liver disease, and it is 44% more likely not to, tell a woman that she has a liver disease than a man. And it's because the training data is extremely biased. The biomarkers that show that a man may have liver disease are not the same as that of a woman. And if you have a biased training data set, you have a biased prediction. And the scary thing is that medical practitioners are using these tools in order to make a diagnosis. And we are accepting those diagnoses. So it's a health hazard. So it is important that we have more women representation. And this is true even for different ethnicities. And we don't have enough data to know how skewed the biases are. So one is the biases which are getting amplified because we don't have gender representation. Secondly, is a representation in society. Why is it that all our home assistants tend to have a female voice? Is it because females are only meant to take orders? Why are there no male voices, right? If you did a Google search right now of physicists or people in power or senators, you would find more male pictures. And even if you found a few sprinkling women pictures, the way they are labeled are extremely different. US senators are labeled as senators, men in power, whereas the female senators are labeled according to their physical appearance. Why this discrimination? And this is just getting amplified by technology. The other dangerous fact with there being less women in tech, in AI, is product design. Did you know that the seat belt that we all wear on a daily basis is not designed keeping the woman body in check? It is designed for a male body, which is why the chances of a woman being injured are 17% more higher, and even fatality is much higher. I forget that stat, but this is a real issue. And we don't need to have this gender gap, right? We can bridge this gender gap. And what I found from my experience that the biggest thing that comes in the way is our own mindsets. So we need to break these mindsets that women cannot be in tech, they cannot be in AI. We need to have more opportunities for girls and women to learn tech. And what again I have found from my experience is that if you start girls young as 7 and 8 years, they realize that this is fun, this is engaging, and this is something they can do, because even by the time they're 11 and 12, they have already got the mindset that this is something only for boys. So we need to start our education young, which is why I chose to have women teachers so that they can be role models and representative to the young children, who decide to start learning technology. It's important to have, opportunities for women to upskill and learn AI even at an older age. Today at Coding and More, we have educators as young as 21 all the way to my age when I'm almost nearing 50. It's important to have role models, so that, and mentoring, within the community, so that women feel safe, they have a nurturing environment where they can ask questions without feeling judged, and they can actually grow and learn. And then it's most important to have opportunities for women to work in tech, and we can now create opportunities online, work from home, and flexi time also, right? So they don't have to work full time, they can start with flexi time until they decide to take it to a full on career. And all of this would help in bridging the gender gap. That's it from me for today. I'm very happy to take questions. So
Thank you very much. That was brilliant. It really was. and it certainly gave us a lot to think about, particularly the effect of the data that the systems are being trained on. So we've got a system that seems to be spiraling towards men.
Yes, so Margaret, I wanted to share with you that, during COVID times, right? Most of the data set came from the US. And what this researcher from MIT, Joy Buolomi, realized that she was doing a facial recognition, experiment at MIT. And because she was a Black lady, she saw that the AI would not recognize her face. And then she wore a white mask and then it recognized her face. So she realized that it was crazy that you have AI applications which are being used by judges to decide the parole that people should be given. They're being used by crime enforcement officers in the UK, in US, to predict for predictive crime. And they are flawed AI systems. How are we using them? And obviously the judges, the officers who are using it don't realize that the AI application that they have is flawed. So they are trusting it like you would trust a calculator that tells you that 2 + 2 is 4. It is a reality that in the US, teachers were getting promotions or getting fired from their jobs, depending upon how an AI app was rating them. And all these AI applications were very, very biased. They did not have complete data. So it's important that we understand the systems, that they are ethically inclined, they're transparent, they're responsible, they are safe, they're inclusive, so that the predictions that they give out, the person who's using them is mindful that there's an accuracy rate involved for it. The liver disease example that I just shared with you, the algorithm that they decided to deploy showed a 90% accuracy. But the researchers went on to realize the 90% accuracy for who? The men. It did not include the women. So we have to ask these questions, that what is the data that you have used to train this AI model? Is it a fair representation of the different ethnicities, the different genders, and the different type of people before you put it to practice?
Certainly the point that you brought up with the seatbelts being not suitable for women. I mean, I know certainly I had a serious car accident and I was off for 8 months and went back to work with a wheelchair. But at the hospital, they said that I'd have been less seriously injured if I'd released the seatbelt just before the impact, which I mean is quite a frightening statement to be told. They said you probably would have actually broken your ankles or legs, but that would have been a lot less damaging than damaging the spine.
Yeah, right, absolutely.